Perpetuating victimhood, especially when it's false, is not a great advertisement for leadership. Kamala Harris's new memoir of the 24 election is called 107 Days, but it should have been called Everyone Sucks But Me. Look, ladies, I know this isn't fair, but we're all always running against the worst cliche of who people think we are. Women Democrats can't look oversensitive or preachy or unable to laugh at themselves. They also can't look silly, like Gretchen Whitmer did, trying to hide in the Oval Office.
Perpetual victimhood is not a great campaign slogan, and Bill Maher is absolutely done pretending it is. On his show, he lit up the Democratic Party, Kamala Harris, and the whole "we're too pure to talk to Trump voters" strategy like a Christmas tree. In his words, these people are not serious. And honestly, when you look at what he's calling out, it's hard to argue. We got a party that wants to win elections while refusing to talk to half the country. A vice president turned candidate framing herself as a tragic heroine of a 107-day saga, and TV voices who go mute whenever it's actually risky to speak. Before we dive all the way into this mess, do me a favor. If you like straight talk, sharp breakdowns, and zero sugarcoating, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment so the algorithm knows you're one of serious people. Let's start with the Democrats' new favorite move, the political block button. Ma is looking at this unofficial stance of we don't talk to Trump. We don't talk to people who voted for him. We don't sit with them. We don't appear with them. We don't breathe near them. And he's like, how exactly do you plan to win a national election like that? Politics is not Instagram. You don't get to mute half the country and then act shocked when they vote you out. It's like telling every customer who disagrees with you to leave your store, then filing for bankruptcy and blaming capitalism. At some point, it's not the customers, it's you. Maher points out there's no actual argument underneath this posture. It's just a vibe. It's a moral sugar rush. It's that rush of I hate Trump the most which makes me the most righteous. Like it's some kind of Olympics of outrage. He's mocking this high school cafeteria mentality where the strategy is, we're going to tell the guy with all the power that he can't sit at our lunch table. And then they're shocked he still wins elections. Of course he does. You didn't beat him. You just refused to show up to the game. The excuse is always the same. If we talk to him, we elevate him. Really? He was president of the United States. He's not some random troll in your comment section. You're not elevating a guy who already had the nuclear codes. All you're doing by refusing to engage is admitting that you have no idea how to challenge him in a way that might actually change minds. It's not moral superiority. It's political insecurity.
That the no-contact people get from never coming in second in a hate Trump the most contest. Really? That's your strategy, to go full high school and tell the guy with all the power he can't sit with you at the lunch table? To borrow a phrase familiar to HBO viewers, you are not serious people. I mean, what exactly is the argument? That by talking to Trump, I'll elevate him? Oh my God, don't tell me he could become president. Well, I guess Ma'am Donnie is going to elevate Trump because he went to the White House today, and look who's getting along now.
And Maher's point is actually pretty practical. Ignoring someone with that much power doesn't make them weaker. It makes you irrelevant. Trump isn't sitting alone in the dark, waiting for Democrats to call. He's taking meetings, building relationships, making deals, and talking directly to the people they refuse to look at. Ma cites examples of people who got in a room with Trump face-to-face and actually influence him. CEOs, celebrities, negotiators. Is he erratic? Absolutely. Does he say insane things on social media constantly, but behind closed doors? When someone shows up, looks him in the eye, and talks, they sometimes walk out with something real.
This guy, MBS, was at the White House this week. Biden thought he could cut him off but a year later he found out he couldn't. There's no perfect way to deal with Trump, but not engaging is for sure nothing. Axios wrote a column in August entitled 11 Ways to Influence Trump, based on many interviews with people who have done that. Number 8, get face-to-face. The trick is getting in the room, away from cameras and social media. Trump will say or write horrible things, but rarely in person, one-on-one, where he comes off kinder, more interested, less erratic. Exactly. And there's a bunch of examples of this. Most recently, the CEO of Intel, who Trump was hating on, but then he met in person and now he's a great guy.
That's the part Maher really hammers. Everything with Trump is personal. It's not about dense policy memos or 40-page briefing books. It's who's in the room, who do I like, who pushed back but didn't flinch. If you're truly worried he's surrounded by yes-men and kissers, why on earth is your master plan to make sure no one but yes-men and kissers are around him? You can't complain. He only listens to his inner circle while refusing to step into the circle. That's not a strategy. That's a tantrum. Underneath all this is a bigger point. Democracy is not therapy. You don't have to like voters to represent them. You don't have to feel morally validated by them to govern them. You just have to talk to them. Persuasion is messy, uncomfortable, and often annoying, but it's the job. When Democrats act like talking to Trump voters is some kind of betrayal of their soul, all they're really saying is we've given up on winning them over. And guess who's happy to scoop them up? The other side who's out there campaigning instead of blocking.
Trump was going to send the National Guard to San Francisco, but somebody talked him out of that. Kim Kardashian, for sake, convinced him to sign legislation. Don't you get it? Do you really not get it at this point? Everything with him is done through personal relationships. He's a people guy. Trust me, he's not at home at night poring over the briefing books. This is government by people is saying. If anything, we need more people like me having dinner with him. You complain he's surrounded by ass-kissers, but your strategy is to make sure no one but ass-kissers are around him. You are not serious people.
Then Ma turns a flamethrower onto Kamala Harris in her new memoir, 107 Days, which he basically says might as well be titled Everyone Sucks But Me. His issue isn't that she wrote a book. Politicians write books. It's the story she seems determined to tell. That she was set up, sabotaged, let down, tragically misunderstood, a victim of time, circumstance, Biden, Newsom, the staff, the public, the vibes, everyone except the one person whose name was on the ballot. It's like watching someone bomb a job interview and then blame the lighting, the chair, the receptionist, the building, the weather, the horoscope. At some point, you have to ask, did you maybe just not do a good job?
Perpetuating victimhood, especially when it's false, is not a great advertisement for leadership. Kamala Harris's new memoir of the 24 election is called 107 Days, but it should have been called Everyone Sucks But Me.
Maher calls the title itself
a victim's title, and you can see why. The implication is, I only had 107 days. How could I possibly win? Except she didn't just have 107 days. She had the vice presidency. She had the platform, the media attention, the name recognition, the money, an entire party apparatus, and tens of millions of voters who would have voted for almost anyone not named Donald Trump. And yet, in the story she seems to tell, none of that matters. The loss is never her fault. Biden didn't step aside soon enough. The timing was unfair. The universe didn't align properly. Cue the pouty face.
107 Days is a victim's title because, get it, she only had 107 days to win. Yeah, and $1.5 billion and a built-in army of about 75 million people who'd vote for any human-adjacent life form that wasn't Trump. But In 107 days, nothing is ever Kamala's fault. Biden lets her down by not stepping down sooner. Pouty face emoji.
And then Ma goes further. She doesn't just blame Biden. She throws shade at Gavin Newsom for not giving her the big, bold endorsement she wanted. As if one governor's text message would have magically unlocked Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. Endorsements are nice. They're not cheat codes. Voters are not NPCs in a video game who automatically follow the nearest blue check. If your campaign strategy rests on, well, I would have won if this other guy had posted about me more. That's not strategy. That's delusion. It doesn't stop there. Ma points out how the blame spreads out like glitter on the American public, who supposedly weren't ready for the running mate she really wanted on staff, on messaging teams, on aides on election night, when it's clear she's lost.
Gavin Newsom, he was asked for his endorsement, but texted, hiking, we'll call back. But then never did. And then he didn't even ask her to prom. America itself lets Kamala down by not being ready for the running mate she really wanted, Pete Buttigieg. So she's stuck with the Home Depot paint salesman. And the rest is herstory. Pork.
We get this cinematic moment. Someone peeling Madam President off cupcakes before handing them out. That's a rom-com scene. That's Bridget Jones' run for president. It's not leadership. It's main character syndrome. And here's where Ma lands a punch. Leadership means ownership. You don't get to enjoy the perks of power, and then when things go sideways, pretend you were just a passenger on the bus. A lot of voters looked at KLA Harris and saw someone who felt scripted, overmanaged, and weirdly disconnected from the reality most people live in. She leaned heavily into ideology and identity while often dodging real uncomfortable questions. That's not on volunteers. That's not on some poor staffer who printed the cupcake labels. That's on the candidate. Zoom out, and this becomes about more than just Kamala.
That on election night, when it was clear she lost, an aide peeled the words Madam President off the cupcakes before handing them out. Oh, geez, that's like a scene from Bridget Jones Runs for President, for Christ's sake.
Lose an election. It's misinformation. It's bigotry. It's the media. It's the voters who don't understand. It's everything but the possibility that maybe the message was off, the strategy was bad, or the leadership was out of touch. If every loss is somebody else's fault, there's no reason to ever change. And if you never change, you keep losing. Simple. Ma even frames it in gender terms for Democratic women. He points out, like it or not, female Democrats are always running against the worst cliche of how people see them. They can't look overly sensitive, preachy, humorless, or ridiculous. They can't be afraid to laugh at themselves. They can't look like they're hiding, literally or metaphorically. When Gretchen Whitmer was caught trying to sneak around the Oval Office, it looked goofy, not strong. And for a party that brands itself as the woman party, that stuff matters. Optics aren't everything, but they're not nothing either.
As a Democrat. You can't hide from the kiss cam, and you can't hide in the Oval Office. Damn, if only the lady at the Coldplay concert had brought some folders with her, maybe she wouldn't be in hot water today. Now,